We call to order the regular meeting October 11, 2012 of the Grant County Commission. Welcome everybody. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, as the symbol of perfect friendship among the United Nations.
Yeah, not bad. Okay, at this time, I wish everybody to please join us in a moment of silence for a teacher over at the Cobre High that passed away at a way young age, Jesse Montes. So please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is to approve the regular meeting agenda.
Chairman, Commissioners, there's no changes that I know of, but I wanted to point out that we did move the resolutions in front of the minutes after public input out of their normal order because we have Mr. Bendixson here that's traveled down from Albuquerque for that notice of intent resolution so he can get back on the road to back up to Albuquerque. He has to drive back up today.
Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve that we approve the agenda as amended.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion to approve the amended agenda. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. What item is that, John?
It's the resolution on the front page. Item 5, resolution.
Okay.
We just moved that whole block up.
Okay. So we'll do item V prior to public input. That'll be fine. Okay. First item on the agenda then on item V is approve or disapprove a resolution R1240 authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement and an intercept agreement with the New Mexico Finance Authority for the water tanker truck in the amount of $96,131 for the Cliff Gila Volunteer Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The Cliff Gila Volunteer Fire Department has gone to New Mexico Finance Authority to purchase a new water tanker for that fire department. It's gone through the New Mexico Finance Authority's board, and this is the next step in the process is the resolution approving that. We take that loan out with them. There's been all that information in the papers and news about the New Mexico Finance Authority. What they're doing is this was a loan that was in place before all that information came out. It was already in their processes, and from our understanding is the New Mexico Finance Authority has money in the bank, and they're continuing to make smaller loans off of those monies until they've done with their audits they're doing, investigative audits and everything, forensic audits, and then they'll go back to the way they were doing business before issuing larger loans and bonds. But this is money that they currently have, and it won't affect Grant County or that fire department if we go ahead and proceed with the loan, even though they're having that turmoil right now out there.
John, that's going to be repaid with fire money?
Yes, it's paid with fire protection funds. That's why the intercept agreement, it's their state fire funds that come down, and so what they'll do is they'll make an intercept off of that before those funds are transferred down to us to give to the fire department. So there's no money coming out of the general fund.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve resolution number R-12-40.
And I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution R-1240. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Approve or disapprove resolution R-1241 supporting a vocational career center.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. What this is there was a Senate Memorial 65 introduced in 2012 legislature that Western New Mexico University has put together a group of stakeholders throughout the community that have been meeting to look at the possibilities of building a vocational center here in Silver City, or somewhere in Grant County, not necessarily Silver City, I guess it could be the mining district, it's just in Grant County. And so what this is this is just a resolution that would support that project as it goes forward. The commission recognizing the need for a vocational career center, and then the Grant County Commission fully supports the application for funding to the Economic Development Administration so that they can go forward.
Nice.
The chairman and I have been attending their meetings when we can, when they don't conflict with other meetings we have. Yeah, they're having one today, right now. And so we've been attending, and I've been working with Mr. Gutierrez has also been attending. That we're running the finance. We're on the finance group that once they come up with a plan and a site where they'd like to do this, then we're working with a group to see what would the finances need to be to create that vocational center.
Okay, thanks, John.
Chairman Caston, I move to approve resolution number R-12-41.
I second.
So motion and second to approve Resolution R-1241. Is there any discussion on that motion?
This has been something that has been discussed for many, many years, and I'm really, really excited to see it come to fruition. So Western New Mexico University would take the lead in funding.
That's kind of how it's playing out right now, is the way the memorial is Western has kind of put together this group to look at it. And so as they go forward with the funding, I guess depending on what the funding source is for it, it would either be Western or probably one of the stakeholders, possibly Grant County or someone else, if it needed to be. But right now, it's Western has been taking the lead, setting up the meetings, and proceeding forward with trying to get this done.
And are we still possibly looking at the Fort Baird property for part of this, or is that still?
I think there's a site selection group that's looking at several different sites. That's one site that's been talked about in the past. On our group, the finance group is Mr. Redford. So he's already drawn up some plans for the university before when they looked at this a few years back. Tony Macias. And so we're working together. So they're looking at some different sites, if it might be there or be other places around Grant County.
This is very exciting.
Any further discussion?
I just think it's very positive for this area. I know we've been talking about this since I served on the school board, and I think it's just very exciting to hear that we're going to do something.
Absolutely.
Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is approve or disapprove Resolution R-1242. This is a notice of intent to adopt an ordinance to authorize the issuance of a series of hospital and gross receipts tax revenue bonds. And we have Terry in the audience.
Yeah, I'll let Terry take this over. He's the bond counsel that we've got on this project.
Go ahead and just state your name for the record, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Perry Bendixson with the Brownstein Law Firm in Albuquerque. We've been engaged to represent the county in possible bonds to finance an expansion to the Gila Regional Medical Center. What you have today is a resolution that would allow publication of a notice of intent to adopt an ordinance at your November 8th meeting that would authorize a series of bonds backed by hospital revenues and gross receipts taxes. This is one of several methods under consideration for financing the expansion. This particular method would lead to what are called bank qualified bonds, which would be attractive to local banks. It is important, if we are going to go the bank qualified route, to have those bonds issued by year end. And so this would be the first step in the schedule to get us to an issuance in December. There are other possibilities being considered that would lead to bonds after the first of the year. But it's important that we get this first step in place if we are to go the bank qualified route. This does not commit you to issue these bonds. You'll have several more bites at that apple as we get down the road.
Thank you very much. John?
Yeah, and I just want to point out, that's very speaking of the bank qualified, and the push is you're restricted to no more than $10 million in a calendar year. And so that's why we're trying to make it by December 31st if we're going to go the bank qualified route, because that would give us $10 million in this year of 2012, and then as of January 1, we could issue another $10 million in bank qualified bonds if we needed to, or we could issue the remaining amount they needed to get them to the $30+ million that they're saying the expansion's going to take. So, but this is, it's to do it bank qualified, which will allow local banks to possibly purchase these. It doesn't restrict it to only local banks. It's open in the market, but it would open that up for our local banks to be able to purchase local in the state of New Mexico as well, not just Silver City. So that's why we're doing this.
Anybody have any questions?
I move to approve resolution number R-12-42.
I second.
It's a motion to approve R-1242. Is there any further discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Perry, for coming down.
Yes, thank you very much. And we have Brian Bentley in the audience. Brian,
Brian, do you want to add anything?
You want
to
to
that?
add anything?
You're welcome to.
Thank you.
It's important that we have a great health care facility.
absolutely.
All right, so we'll move back up into public input. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome your suggestions and want to hear your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 5 minutes. Individuals who would like to discuss items in more depth may request to be placed on a future agenda. Request forms are available in the county manager's office. So at this time, I'd ask for any public input, any items that are not on the agenda. Okay, no public input. Minutes. Approve or disapprove September 25th, 2012 special meeting minutes.
Chairman Cass, I move to approve the September 25th, 2012 special meeting minutes.
I second.
There's a motion and a second to approve September 25th, 2012 special meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approve or disapprove September 25th, 2012 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion. We approve the September 25th, 2012 regular meeting minutes.
And I'll second that motion.
There's a motion to approve the September 25th, 2012 regular meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Financial reports. Review and discussion regarding the September 12th financial report. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. In your package, we have the financial report dated September 30th, 2012. Start off with the general fund. The actual cash balances of July 1st, 2012 was $3,707,696. Revenues year-to-date are $898,752. Operating expenditures year-to-date are $852,790. Salaries and benefits are $1,271,889, leaving a cash balance as of September 30th of $2,481,769, with projected transfers in and out, revenues and expenditures through June 30th, 2013 of a negative $109,878, leaves a cash balance as of June 30th, 2013 of $2,371,891, less the 3/12 reserve of $2,105,342, leaves a surplus of $266,549. On page 2 is the revenues. We've collected 10.14% of the budgeted revenues so far this year. On page 3, you have the transfers, and we've done 0% of the budgeted transfers. Usually those don't start to happen until after the first of the year. The next page is the road fund. As of July 1st, 2012, the road department has $426,531, with revenues year-to-date of $213,372. Operating expenditures of $85,035. Salaries and benefits of $287,862. Leaves an actual cash balance as of September 30th of $267,006. With projected transfers in, revenues and expenditures through June 30th, 2013 of a positive $52,999. Leaves a cash balance as of June 30th, 2013 of $320,005. Less the required reserve of 112 is $130,935. Leaves a surplus at June 30th of $189,070. There's been 0% of the budgeted transfers done into the road department from the general fund year to date. The next is the corrections fund. As of July 1st, the balance was $363,330. Year-to-date revenues as of September 30th is $214,571. Operating expenditures year-to-date are $140,145. Salaries and benefits are $406,068. Leaves a cash balance as of September 30th of $31,689. With projected transfers in, revenues and expenditures through June 30th, 2013 of $44,653. Leaves a cash balance as of June 30th, 2013 of $76,342, and there is no required reserve in the corrections fund.
Okay, thank you, John. Next item on the agenda is to approve the October 10th expenditure report for $3.6 million. There's going to be some stuff in there, I'm sure.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. In your packet, you have the expenditure report dated October 10th, 2012. The total is $3,606,306.21. A major portion of that is we had a quarterly payment to the indigent fund of $2,077,509.28. So that brings it back down to the $1 million range, where this is a month's worth of expenditures, and so we're on track with our normal spending once you take that large payment out of there. And that happens quarterly to that department. And then we have also in there is a payment of $166,973 is for the construction, the remodel over at the conference center. That project has started and is going on, and it's on schedule so far.
What number is that?
That is right below that indigent. It's the 535.
Oh, okay.
Two below there. It's $166,973.49 is that payment to the contractor for that project.
Okay. Any questions for John on the expenditure report?
No.
No questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the expenditure report?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the October 10th, 2012 expenditure report.
And I'll second that motion.
A motion and proper second to approve the October 10th, 2012 expenditure report. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. New business. Approve or disapprove a proclamation declaring October 22nd through 26th, 2012 as Pro Bono Week.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We do this each year. Started probably a couple years ago. Judge Quintero, who's here today, if you want to
Come on up, Judge.
Judge has asked us to do this. They provide some pro bono legal work for a time frame. It's been a
Good to see
great
you.
project.
I don't want to repeat everything you said in the past, but we're doing it again, providing free legal services day for those who can't afford an attorney. It's not for everybody, but it is for those who cannot afford to hire an attorney. This year, instead of having speeches and then advice, we're just going to provide a lot of attorneys and provide advice, because we discovered that, and we should have known that a long time ago, that when you give attorneys the opportunity to speak, it's hard to shut them up. So, We are not going to do that this year. We've given the public enough advice, and the reason for the proclamation is obviously so that we have the publicity in the community, and people become more aware of the day we're going to do it. The 24th, it'll be at the university, and there'll be announcements in the paper and flyers all over town. So I appreciate your continued support on this and I appreciate your past support of this proclamation. Thank you.
This is a great service. Thank you, Judge
Thank you.
Quintero.
Okay, I guess at this time I'll go ahead and read this proclamation, and we'll get it signed and get you a copy, Judge. Whereas 1 in every 4 of the 1.75 million New Mexicans live in poverty and experience legal problems, with the majority of these civil problems being family law issues, divorce, child support, custody abuse, customer issues, creditor harassment, utility non-payment, bankruptcy issues, health issues, Medicaid, government insurance, nursing home employment issues, unemployment benefits, pension, lost job, and housing issues, unsatisfactory repairs, foreclosure, eviction, and poor living conditions. And whereas each year the low-income citizens of Grant County lack the access to legal assistance for their legal problems that are often critical to the safety and independence, forcing them to resolve complex legal problems on their own. And whereas the need for legal aid in New Mexico is dire, funding for low-income New Mexicans who need civil legal assistance has not yet been met, with the consequences being a lack of access to justice, which is devastating for the poor, which weakens our democratic society as a whole. And whereas although 72% of the members of the legal community in the 6th Judicial District donated their time and talents in free legal services each year, a huge unmet need for legal assistance remains for the disadvantaged in our area. And whereas, sponsored by the Access to Justice Commission and the American Bar Association, with the support from local pro bono committees statewide, Pro Bono Week 2012 from October 22nd to 26th, 2012 will educate the public about the extensive work New Mexico lawyers are doing by donating their time to improve their lives of vulnerable members of our community, and will encourage more individuals in the legal community to get involved in pro bono work and financially support the legal aid system. And whereas Pro Bono Week 2012 will feature legal clinics throughout the state assisting New Mexicans who greatly need legal assistance but cannot afford to pay for that help, and will also feature recognition events throughout the state of New Mexico honoring lawyers and judges for making a difference in New Mexico. Now, therefore, the Grant County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim October 22nd through the 26th, 2012, to be Pro Bono Week, and urge all residents to recognize the contributions of their legal community helping those most in need, done this 11th day of October 2012 by the Board of Commissioners.
Chairman Caston, I'd like to approve the proclamation declaring October 22nd to the 26th as Pro Bono Week.
That second?
There's a motion and proper second to approve the proclamation declaring Pro Bono Week is October 22nd through the 26th. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Judge, if you'll come up, we'll give this to you. We'll come down. Next item on the agenda is to approve or disapprove EMS Funds Act Local Systems Improvement Project application for fiscal year 2014 for the Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department.
We skipped one.
I skipped one? I'm so sorry. Thanks for keeping me in line, Mary Alice. Okay, let's do I then. Approve or disapprove inventory deletion request for the Pina Southwest Volunteer Fire Department for the removal of a portable water tank.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. PA Volunteer Fire Department has sent us a letter. They had an item that's called a water buffalo. It was a water tank on a trailer that they could haul water. It's no longer needed in their inventory, and so they're just asking that they could have it deleted from their inventory, and we'll move it to the road department to put it with the vehicles that we're preparing to have an auction. Either send them to an auction or do something here with down there at the road department.
Have the other departments been asked if they have a use for it before we sell it?
We will ask them before we sell it. I don't think it's very useful to them because most of them have water tankers now, and so this is an older piece of equipment that really isn't. As you can see, the picture on the back is a smaller water tank.
Okay.
And
And we
so-
do have Lucy Whitmore here, she needs to add anything. Lucy?
Are you good? Okay. All right, then,
Good to get rid of it.
we'll ask for a motion.
Chairman Caston, I move to approve the inventory deletion request from the Pina Southwest Volunteer Fire Department for removal of the portable water tank.
My second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approve or disapprove, we'll get to that one now. Approve or disapprove EMS Funds Act Local Systems Improvement Project application for fiscal year 2014 for the Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This has been put into the EMS funds. They have to put in for their money as an application. They're asking for $7,000 to do to train their volunteers. They've added a rescue transport to the Hatchita station, and so they're wanting to get the volunteers trained up so that they can really staff up that rescue transport. And what it is the hospital and the commission had accepted it. The hospital transferred an old ambulance that they were no longer using to Grant County for the Hatchita station, so that what the medical rescue does is it allows them to start to transport people, but they can't transport them all the way. They're intercepted along the way, either by somebody coming from Deming or ambulances coming from the hospital up here down that way. It allows them to start that care for those individuals down there, and so that's what this money will help. It has a 10% match that's required, which will come out of their state fire funds or their fire excise tax that has. It won't come out of the general fund. So the grant is going to be for $6,300 if it's approved.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve or disapprove the EMS Funds?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the EMS Funds Act Local Systems Improvement Projects applications for the fiscal year of 2014 for the Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department.
And I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a proper second to approve the EMS Funds for the Tyrone Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item K, approve or disapprove the sole community provider supplemental payment amount from Gila Regional Medical Center in the amount of $676,065.58.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Each year you do the sole community provider payments at the beginning of the year for Gila Regional Medical Center. About this time in the year, it seems like they get a supplemental. This year, the supplemental amount that was awarded to them was $2,206,481.32, which requires a match of $676,065.88. the Healy Regional Medical Center, being that they're a county-owned hospital and their funds are public funds, they've given us a check for the $676,065.88 already, and we've prepared a check under our accounts to issue back up to the state if the commission approves this today, so that it'll bring in some more funding to them. And this, really, these fundings, and Brian is here, and he can speak to it if you need him to, but really what these fundings are is they're to offset the costs of treating, I guess, the indigent or low-income people that can't afford to pay and don't have insurance, because they are the sole hospital here. It's not excess revenues to them, it's just offsetting costs that are on their books. Is that right, Brian? He's finally beat it into me after 7 years. I think I got the speech right.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the sole community provider supplemental payment amount from the Healy Regional Medical Center in the amount of $676,065.88.
And I'll second that motion.
There's a motion to approve the sole community provider supplemental payment to Gila Regional Medical Center. Is there any discussion on that motion? John, why don't you quickly just explain where that money comes from, because it's not from the general fund, just for the public.
Yeah, what happens with the sole community provider funds is Grant County has some gross receipts taxes that have been put in place that are geared towards paying for sole community provider and indigent patients. So every time the commission goes as the Indigent Healthcare Claims Board, we have the sole community provider piece, which is any treatments that are done in the hospital, they initiate through the hospital and some of our local doctors that they work with here. If it's a treatment for a patient at Las Cruces, Albuquerque, somewhere like that, where they have to be sent out, that goes under the indigent healthcare claims, the out-of-county claims. So that's what pays for that. Anything that's in excess of what we collect in gross receipts tax, because the hospital is owned by the county, they can then pay those excess monies using the public funds. We can send them up so that they can get the entire benefit that's due to them, because it's a calculation through the patients that they've seen in previous years to determine how much money they are eligible for. It's not just a random amount. So they're determining how much they can get, and as long as they can come up with a match, they get that match back. It's sent to the state, and then it's sent back at a 3-to-1 ratio.
Okay. Thanks, John. At this time, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Brian. Doing a great job up there. Okay, item L, discussion regarding the Viva Santa Rita subdivision roads. Mr. Floyd, are you here? You are.
This thing on? Yes, it is.
Welcome to Davis.
Thank you.
Name for the record?
Robert Dwayne Floyd. Oh, that's bad. I don't even like that now. First, I'd like to offer up my honest and sincere apology. I failed everybody here. Every single one of you I failed. I put all the blame on my shoulders.
If you can get the mic a little closer so we can hear you, it'd be great. Thank you.
I said I wanted to offer up my sincere apology for failing everybody here. Everyone. I'm sorry. I got good news and very little bad. I brought things up to read because I don't want to misquote. It's from the Supreme Court of this United States.
Mr. Floyd, is it concerning the road in Viva Santa Rita?
And just like it states on here, on the agenda to state your opinions and concerns. Can I do that? My blood's been shed on Form So on this.
You're
First
on.
time I've ever asked for a privilege.
Read your statement, but you just stick to the Viva Santa Rita roads is what
It
we need to
concerns
stick to.
that as well.
Okay. If it does, then it won't be a problem, Mr. Floyd.
I will tie them together if you'll allow me to speak while you're busy interrupting.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The Supreme Court writes, a client who consults an attorney for advice that will serve him in the commission of a crime, fraud, will have no help from the law. He must let the truth be told. Now, I would submit the attorney works for us all, for all Farmers County. And if he's doing things against my best interests, I think he better reconsider where he's going. I think at this point you guys are all okay. But he needs to think. As far as the road is concerned, I think you're aware I've contacted several different agencies. Everything I've done is going away, including me as part of a SOAR program that was meant to earn about $100 million in revenue in this county. So I won't prejudice you. But everything's perfect here for that facility. One's going to be built in North Georgia mountains, for law enforcement and military. They deserve it. Reclimatized. But I might as well have been a Jew in Nazi Germany. That's how I felt. That's how I was treated. Up to and including them all, everything's going to be stopped. Nothing's going to happen. Except for 2 criminal acts. One you know about, and one I just told you about. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is county reports. Sheriff, you want to start?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I want to report for the month of September, we had 389 calls for service. We took 171 reports. We investigated 25 motor vehicle collisions. During that time of September, actually our calls went down a little bit. I attribute that to the change in weather and school starting back up. It's helped us out a little bit in the calls going down. In our civil process division, we served 501 notices, which include subpoenas, DVOs, writs. We did a total of 3,904 miles in transports to and from the prison and jails and doctor's office and stuff like that. I also wanted to report to the commission I'm short-handed a little bit, and I want to thank my staff. They've picked up the slack. We're short on 2 people that are out on medical, but it's been pretty hectic for the guys keeping up, and I want to thank them for keeping up with the pace and keeping up the job that they're doing, and I really do want to thank them. They deserve a thanks because they go out there and do extra when we're short-handed, and I really do appreciate that. Other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you have any questions.
Any questions for the Chair?
Sheriff Buenreva, how was everything at the fair? No problems or anything?
There was a few incidents that did occur out at the fair that were handled very quickly by the staff, and we did do a report that I will present to the fair board just to show them what we did and how things were handled and see if we can do something a little bit different next year. But other than that, it turned out really well.
I'd like to thank you and your department for taking good care of us in Grant County.
I helped take receipts the night of the dances, and they were always right there with us, and I appreciate that.
They're very good about that.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Sester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. A couple of things. We've sent the values over to the treasurer for collection for 2012, so we've wrapped up our 2012 year. I do want to thank the staff. They worked really hard this year, and we'll continue working on, going out and checking properties that haven't been checked in a long time. Currently, we've got 2 teams out in the Mimbres area, so I want those people. I know everybody doesn't watch cats, but I'm trying to do everything I can as far as the media, print media, whatever I have to do to make sure that staff is out there and they're safe. That's all I have on that, unless you have any questions. The other issue is I attended the Association of County Board Directors in Los Alamos, and Mr. Chairman, you'll be happy to know that they did vote to support the solid waste going forward with the commissioners. It's not one of the priorities, but will get the support of the board. The other thing is we had a presentation by Dr. Clifford, the Cabinet Secretary for the Department of Finance. I put
it in your boxes, along with John, and I spoke to Anthony about it today a little bit. You can read that, and unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Randy? Okay.
Good luck on your solid waste.
Well, if we can just get that done, and I've only been talking about it now for, 20 months, 22 months? So, okay, now Mr. Treasurer.
Just want to let everybody know, I'd like to thank Randy and his staff for getting that file over to us, and my staff for preparing it, getting it ready, making sure that everything was good, and which happened with the prisoners. Bills should be going out at the end of this month, so people can come in and make their payments now if they wish, or go online, because they're online as well right now. Anybody has any questions, please give us a call into our office. Also, I wanted to give you just a little update on what we spoke about the last meeting with what happened with DFH here. We had a conference call the other day with the Metro Association of Counties, along with every treasurer in the state. Yesterday, there was a meeting at 10 a.m. That the New Mexico Association of Counties, Paul and Tasha, put together. I haven't received an email on what happened yet. I just know it lasted from 10 to 1:30. So as soon as I hear anything, I will let you all know what's going on. I did give some paperwork to Mr. Gorman, because at our conference call, we did, the treasurers thought that our legal should know what's going on for in case there has to be any legal action, which Bernalillo County was going to take the lead on that if they have to submit an injunction to do an emergency so that we are able to take monthly payments as we were in the past. Nothing has been done yet, but I'm going to let Mr. Morgan know as we go along what's going on, and hopefully we'll get that resolved soon. But we have, the state is here now. I have two gentlemen in my office, and they will be here for around 2 months. We have already started collecting quite a bit of money in full payments on their delinquencies. We hope to continue doing that as well, but until this happens, as far as monthly payments, right now we can only accept full payments for the amounts that are delinquent. So, again, if anybody has any questions, please come by or call our office. Letters for 2008 and 2009 have been sent to the state. The people have been receiving those, and we've been getting calls and people coming in. So, if you have any other questions, all I have.
I know I want to be kept up on that. Just, taking payments, that's an important issue. I'd like to see how that turns out.
Okay.
So,
And I'd like to strongly tell you that you have our support. Anything we can help you with, please let us know.
And also, I'd like to thank the treasurers affiliate too. Their chairman was there, been at the meetings as well, because I know they have a stake in this as well. I'd like to thank them for being, beside us and, fighting for this. It's something that just needs to be corrected, and finally it came this year that it needs to be done, because we know that it hasn't been working in the years past. No one really listened to us until now, so hopefully we'll get this resolved.
okay.
Thanks, Alfred.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clark, I know you got a busy month coming up.
We have a big one, yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. I did want to remind everyone that yesterday was the first day to cast a ballot in our office. We had over 300 voters show up yesterday.
That's amazing.
On Tuesday, 300 voters. Wednesday, we had over 200 voters come in, so it's a pretty steady pace. Absentee applications, you can get them online at our website, www.grantcountynm.com. On the website, you can also print out sample ballots if you need things like that. You can come in our office, get sample ballots as well. Applications, you can call our office, 574-0042. We'll get you those applications to you so you can receive an absentee ballot at home. At our next meeting, we'll give a little presentation on the voter convenience centers for those individuals that are waiting to vote on election day. We have 6 different convenience centers out there. Make it pretty smooth, that way everybody's aware of that. There'll be ads in the paper for voter convenience centers as well as early voting, all of that good stuff. I anticipate a huge turnout for this election. We've been busy. Anytime the president's on the ballot, we get a large turnout. Other than that, if you have any other questions for me, that's all I have.
Any questions for Robert?
I'd just like to commend Robert and his staff for the great work that they do during elections. You're all very professional, and I know you're very busy, so thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Well, I can't believe how high-tech you've made that office. You know, it's really amazing to be able to get onto the internet and pull these sample ballots and actually pull your ballot out of the internet. So congratulations and kudos to you.
And I normally don't like to do early voting, but I guess I will.
Might as well. Okay, thanks, Robert. I see Anthony back there in the back, so I'm going to go ahead and ask him to come up and give us a little bit of information on the two subdivisions that we're working on, trying to get their roads done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You can start with Mr. Sandoval.
Well, we met yesterday, John, myself, and Mr. Sandoval, and I went over what we wanted to do, our next steps. I am going to conduct some kind of location-type surveys in the two projects tomorrow. Make sure that the roadways are within the platted right-of-way, I guess you would call it. We still have in the Loma Verde subdivision case, we still have the question on whether or not those roads have been dedicated. The other subdivision, Viva Santa Rita, it seems like those roads were dedicated. It's on the plat and signed plat with the commission signatures, so we don't have that problem there. We just want to make sure that the location of the roads are good with where they're supposed to be. Then we'll move into, and I will get with Dory today to try and get a jump start on the process for the assessment district. And I think, my understanding, the first part of the process would be the commission agreeing that they want to enter into an agreement to do the assessment district and have the resources to do so. So that's what she informed me in our discussion the other day. Dory did find a 1978 version of the subdivision regulations. I was on vacation for a few days, so I haven't had a chance to read those, but I'll try and get to them today.
And so both of the residents of both subdivisions have expressed a willingness to do a improvement district. So I'm pretty sure that the commission, I'm speaking for you guys, we feel as though if somebody wants to bring their road up to standards, that we want them to, and we want to maintain those. So just to let you know that kind of where the commission's coming from.
Right, and what we'll have to do is we'll have to put together, we'll have to get the total amount, estimated cost, we'll put together exactly how much it'll cost each resident, all of those type of things, bring it to the commission so that the commission will be aware of what they're agreeing on. The citizens of the subdivisions will be aware of what they will have to do to pay in the next few years, and at least we'll have a total outlook on everything that's going to be proposed.
Thanks, Anthony.
Anybody have any questions for Anthony?
Yeah, I just like to add that the process that we're going to follow, as Anthony said, he's going to go out and take a preliminary look, because as you know, Mr. Sandoval brought to the commission before, that there was a dedication of the roads that was recorded at the clerk's office, but we've never found where it's coming from the commission. So if in Anthony's preliminary looks, he sees that the road was actually built where that easement was, then on the October 25th meeting, we'll bring to the commission that dedication, so you can accept the dedication of the right-of-ways of those roads, so that'll kick us into the process of the improvement district. If we find it wasn't, then what we'll do is we'll figure out how to get a survey out there and survey where the easements are. In talking with Lonnie, all the residents have no issues with it. If the road isn't exactly where it is, they've all signed something saying they're fine giving an easement for this road. And one thing we talked about yesterday is possibly making a bus turnaround right before it goes into the low water crossing that we'll have to build. Mr. Sandoval's land is right before that, and he said that he would gladly give the needed land to do a bus turnaround so the buses could come down further into that subdivision for the kids. So we're going to look at that as we go forward with the improvement of those roads.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Sandoval for his patience and persistence. That always helps. So thank you. You've been very professional throughout this whole thing.
Thanks, Lonnie. Okay, John, you want to go ahead and just continue on with your report?
Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I wanted to let the commissioners know that we got the new tax increment forms for the gross receipts tax that'll go into place January, and the dispatch tax is on there continuing now, going forward to 2023. So that is on there, and originally they had made a mistake when they sent out the forms. They thought what we had done is enact the additional 8, so they jumped that tax to a full 0.25%, and that's not what happened. So they had to resend the ones to the municipalities to show it was just the 8. If we wish to go for the other quarter, or the other 8 later on, we would have to do it either under a special election like we did, or combine it with the general election, some in 2 years, or something like that. But that is in place, so the tax will be there for another 10 years for dispatch, to keep dispatch going. Myself and Commissioner Miller met with some residents on Duck Creek that had some concerns on their road. It is a county-maintained road that they currently have. They brought us in a sample of the fine powder dust that the road has in a couple intersections, the highly traveled intersections. Given a list to Anthony, some of the concerns they brought, so he'll take a look at it with Earl, see if there's something we can do. They understood, they're very understanding, they understand it's a dirt road, they understand there's not a lot. They just asked if we could take a look at it. And then they asked for some signage. There's one intersection that does not have a stop sign on it, and it's a blind corner, so people are blowing that intersection, and there's been close calls. And then there's also on that same road, it crosses Duck Creek, and so there's no sign that says do not enter when flooded. You would think it would be obvious, but the resident that lives right there at that intersection, he told us that he's constantly getting knocks on his door for him to take his backhoe down there and pull people out because they enter when flooded, thinking they can get across. So he's asked if we can put that sign there, so maybe it'll stop the knocks, the midnight knocks on his door when people are trying.
And they had some very justifiable concerns.
Do you think that sign's going to stop them from knocking?
No, but if it gives him peace of mind that we did it, so the sign is inexpensive and
Right.
it's our road.
That's fine.
So Anthony's going to take a look at some of those things with Earl and see if there's something we can do. We might not be able to do anything. They did also ask us to do a speed limit on the road, which we don't do speed limits typically on the dirt roads because it creates it's harder to maintain it because you start having to maintain for the speed limits. Could create some liability, and so it's not a practice that we have. And then they also asked if the sheriff's office could do any patrolling out there on that road, because they said that they feel that there's a lot of people that go to that Last Chance liquor store, and then they drive down Duck Creek drinking their beers as they get back to town, is the way they told us.
Take the back road.
So they don't have to be on the highway drinking their beers. They go down Duck Creek, and so they say that they would ask if the sheriff would, have his guys, if they're out in the area, take a look and see if they can stop some of that.
The Last Chance people.
But they were very nice people.
Oh, yeah, they were.
They were very understanding people. They just came and asked if there could be something that could be done.
When it's dry, it's like a powder. When it's wet, it's like slime.
Yeah. I have a jar of powder in my office.
I may have a fix for that. We may work on that tonight, and we'll go out and look at the fairboard.
After you go to Last Chance.
So, they wanted to let the commissioners know, and I guess the commissioner candidates know, that the Association of Counties has planned a training from November 28th through 30th, which is it used to be called the Better Informed Public Official Training. It's a training for newly elected officials to kind of help them learn what their job is going to be when they take office January 1st. And so that'll be the 28th through the 30th. Who they want to attend this year is they're going to have the newly elected commissioners from the counties. They asked that the commission chairs go so that they could kind of tell these individuals kind of how things work in their county, because it's a general kind of class. It's not specific to each county. They asked the county managers to be there, and then the attorneys as well, because each county is a little different on how they interpret the Open Meetings Act and how they interpret the public inspection, because there's a little gray area there. So they wanted those people there so that these people can really get the newly elected commissioners could really get a good training and hit the ground running January 1st, because that's basically what happens, is once they start office, we're instantly running into starting to do business. We can't wait around, and so this will at least give an idea of why they're voting yes on certain things or voting no on certain things, and why we do what we do, because we do business differently than any private business does. It's very hard to understand our budget and our books and everything else, so this helps them out. It gives them a little jump start to go. Myself and the chairman tonight will be going to a meeting at the fair barn to start looking at that project, to redo that project, meeting with a committee of 5 individuals that were appointed by the fair board. And so we'll be out there starting that process to go into legislature this year to see if we can get some funding for it, and have a plan ready to go. Jim Redford will be the architect on the project. He'll be there tonight so that we can get that going and have a plan. Then I just want to let you know, I put in your box the letters that we sent to Great Lakes, or to the federal government on the Essential Air Service, to recommend Great Lakes, and what they're going to do is 2 round trips to Phoenix. When they were here, they discussed that round trip to Denver and the round trip to Phoenix, but the way the Essential Air Services read, you can't go into 2 major hubs. And so what we did, myself and the chairman met with the mayor and the town manager and talked about what the town's looking at. We also met with the university, what their needs were, talked with a lot of people, and we felt that if you could go to 2 round trips to Phoenix, and then we'll work with either Seaport Air or a local Mr. Frost or somebody, talking with them to see if we can get some service to Santa Fe, so you're not going to a hub. But if you go to Santa Fe, then from Santa Fe you can catch an airline either to, I think they go to Las Vegas, or Great Lakes is possibly looking at going to Denver from Santa Fe again. But if we can get to Santa Fe, we don't violate the Essential Air Service by servicing 2 hubs, because Santa Fe is not a hub. So that's what's going to happen. They've already changed their flight because they're currently under not a contract of Essential Air Service. They've been bound over to where right now what the flight was doing is going Clovis to Albuquerque, Albuquerque to Silver City, Silver City to Phoenix, Phoenix back to Silver City, back to Albuquerque, back to Clovis. And so that'll stop once the new order comes out, and they'll go 2 round trips a day, 1 in the morning from Phoenix to Silver City and back to Phoenix, and then 1 in the evening from Phoenix to Silver City and back. And they mentioned in their meeting here of overnighting a plane in Silver City, and when our discussions with them, we told them that we felt that wasn't in their best interest or our best interest, because we have that situation right now with Clovis. If the plane breaks, there's no spare plane. But if they overnight in Phoenix and originate in Phoenix, then they have several spare planes. So if there's something wrong with the plane, they can grab another plane and come down here, and we don't have to cancel the flight. The flight can continue on. And so we felt it's best if they originated in Phoenix to come down here than originating here to go to Phoenix.
John, what is the timeline on this?
Approximately, I think it takes a couple weeks. The deadline was yesterday to submit your recommendations to the Federal Department of Transportation, and then I think they take a couple weeks to look at those and produce that order to go out to Great Lakes. So I would guess you're looking at probably that service starting the 1st of December would be my guess based on previous years. So,
Any other questions, John?
No, sir.
Commissioner, would you like a few minutes?
Sure. I definitely want to speak today in I've been called by probably 5 or 6 elderly residents, about an ad that's been in the radio. And it really concerns me, because in the radio it states that we as commissioners can allow a rebate to go on to these elderly people, and it's a very false very false advertisement put on by one of the candidates. Okay? Again, it states that we can give a rebate to people, to our senior citizens, with the surplus that the county has. And I automatically started talking to our assessor, trying to figure out what is he talking about. And I believe he is referencing the state statute 7-36-21. It's called Limitations on Increase in Value for Single-Family Dwellings Occupied by Low-Income Owners 65 years of age or older or disabled. And I'd like to thank Randy for getting us this information. And every year Randy comes up and gives us different ways of people having exemptions for their property taxes and just different ways that people can help themselves when it comes to the tax tables and what have you. So we appreciate you doing that every year, and I think you've brought this up before, and we appreciate it. So at this time, I'd like to ask you to please go ahead and kind of explain that to us, explain this portion of the law.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ramos. I think really it's in the article, it's under Article 36, and it's a regulation that allows the elderly 65 years and older, if their income is $32,000 or less, of everybody living in the household. We do give out approximately, I think it was 65 to 95 valuation freezes. It has nothing to do with the taxes. It's only on the valuation side. It freezes the value of the previous year if you qualify. Now, I've taken a step further by, if you qualify the previous year, you automatically generates an application to be sent to the resident. Because as you know, the older you get, the harder it is to try to remember and read some of this information. So I try to stretch out as best I could to the community and our elderly and make sure that they understand the exemptions they get. But it has nothing to do, it has nothing to do with taxes, it's strictly valuation. So unless you have any questions, I mean, it has nothing to do with the tax roll, it has to do with strictly valuation.
Well, no, I just want to say, we appreciate you explaining it to us, and we knew there was no rebates, and, more than anything, I think the citizens have been given a disservice. I really would like to tell people that if you're running for office, get the facts straight. Don't put down your current commission as being bad people and not giving this rebate, because if there was rebates, I guarantee we would be considering it. And again, if you're running for office, get the facts straight.
I totally agree with you, Mr. Ramos.
And again, all the information that allows, whether you be a veteran or disabled or elderly, it's all on the back of the notice of value that is sent to you in April of every year. And so there's a huge window of opportunity for these people to apply for it. And again, like I said, if you qualify for it, it annually generates an application for you, because you have to apply for it every year. But I want to make it easier for them to make sure that the application is in the mail as a reminder for them every year. And so again, I just want to stress that it's strictly valuation, and it has really in whole no part as far as a tax rebate or taxes.
Okay, I'm going to make it perfectly clear. What it does is it limits the increase of the valuation of your property up to zero. It could be...
It only freezes the value of the previous year and doesn't allow the valuation to go up. Zero. Yes, sir.
Or some value thereof?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Treasurer.
Yeah, I just wanted to let Randy know as well. We try to help Randy out as well, because as you well know, people don't watch cats, read papers or whatever. When they come into our office, one of the things that we do when they come in right away, they notice their bills a lot or whatever, they don't read their notices values or get it to Randy with that. We try to help them out as well in my office to look at their exemptions, to let them know that, hey, you might be able to qualify for this, and then we do send them over to the assessor so they can get that information as well. So, we try to help Randy out as well, because like you said, it's hard to get the communication up there, so we try to help them out.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Randy, and again, we just got to do everything we can to help our seniors. They're retired and they deserve to be. I also wanted to bring up an issue with the people from the Viva Santa Rita subdivision residents. I really would like to see residents that actually own property out there talk to us. The people that own the property need to come out here and let us know how they truly feel. We've heard from probably 3 or 4 of these people already that are interested in the assessment. But please, if you are residents out there and you own property out there, please come and talk to us. You know, I prefer talking to an actual owner other than, you know, someone else representing an owner personally. But, you know, I really feel that way.
I just would like to say that there have been several residents that come into my office.
Good.
We had some good conversation about what we're attempting to do, and they're totally and completely satisfied with what we're attempting to try and get their set work maintenance on their roadway.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cynthia, I also have had conversations with at least 3 others that actually live there.
Good.
And I think there were several of them at the first meeting that they attended.
Yes, ma'am. And also the Palo Verde road, I mean, I'm glad to see that we're moving on it. Thanks a lot, Anthony. On solid waste issues, we are going to pass a letter of support through the Alliance next meeting. I think I mentioned that last time. And I believe that's all I have today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Miller?
I'd just like to commend the Fair Board, the Grant County Fair Board, and all the young adults and all the individuals that work on that fair. I think it turned out very nicely this year. I think the sales were maybe up from last year, if I'm correct. And then the other thing, John, I just wanted an update on the audit. Where are we at with this? Thank you. Get your little microphone.
Yeah, we met with Mr. Stone, Mr. Gorman has, myself, and Linda Vasquez. He was in the office, I think Tuesday. The days all blend together nowadays, but I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. He came in the office, and he told us that the only thing that he was lacking as he wrote up the 2010 to send off was he couldn't find his papers that showed the original budget versus the adjusted budget, where we make the budget adjustments. So Linda was getting him a new copy of that, and that's all he lacked to send it up. So it should be sent. Then he thought it would take him 2 weeks to finish the 2011 audit, and then he's been saying that he'll finish the 2012 by the November 15th deadline, is what he's told us. And so it was either Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember, I'm sorry. I've been in a lot of meetings this week, and the days kind of blended.
Yeah, we need to stay on top of
I
that.
think we should expect anything less. We've been
Tirelessly waiting here, and we need to get it done ASAP.
Yeah, no, and that's what he told us that day. He came in and he said the only thing he was lacking was he couldn't find that budgets, and so he needed something that showed him the original budget and then the adjusted budget after Linda did those budget adjustments, and so she was getting him that information.
But we do need to stay on top of that.
No, I've spoke to him in the last couple weeks, between myself, Mr. Gorman, and Linda. I think we spoke to him about every couple of days. We've talked to him about the progress. And so every time we see him, he's kind of getting tired to see our face. He knows what's coming. We actually, myself and Mr. Gorman, we were playing golf on a Sunday, and we saw him, and we're like, hey, by the way. And so we hit him up everywhere we go.
Good. That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay, well, like John stated earlier, we have a meeting tonight out at the fairgrounds to meet with the Fair Board over the Fair Barn. We also have a nice committee of county employees, myself, John, Anthony, and Judy O'Laughlin from the Extension Service going to be representing our sides. I do appreciate the Association of Counties and the Commissioner Alliance supporting my true need to change how we collect for solid waste fees. I'm so tired of, lived here for 50 years, and I'm tired of Ever Arroyo having trash in it, and I want it to be, it's never going to be free, but it's going to appear free, and then the fees for you dumping illegally are going to be as high as we can make them. So, I think that's some important things that are going to happen. The last thing I have to say today is, please use your right to vote. It's imperative that you vote. I don't care who you vote for, vote. And anything for the, all right?
Here, here.
You have an executive session.
We have an executive session today, so at this time I'd take a vote to move in, or a motion to move into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Rob, would you take a roll call?
Commissioner Ramos, are you aware that you will be entering into executive session?
Yes, I am.
Chairman Caston, are you aware that you will be entering into executive session?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller, are you aware that you will be entering into executive session?
Yes, sir.
We are in executive session.